For a chat with our good friend. It's been a while. It's Nikki from the Fort St. John Hospital Foundation. How's it going today, Nikki?
It's going really well, thanks.
You're
I'm at
sta-
home, safe and warm in my house just for the moment.
well, that's good. It's good to be warm wherever you happen to be. So why don't we talk a bit about some great upcoming events you have? It feels like it just ended because last year's event was pushed back due to COVID, but we're talking about Bluey Day. It's already registration coming up in less than a month from now.
That's right. So, Bluey Day, we're going to be launching on March the 1st for registrations. And Bluey Day will actually be on May the 15th. That's a Saturday. And the funds raised through Bluey Day is done through participants who register, collect funds and pledges for when they have their heads shaved. So they're shaving their heads to support people who are perhaps been through cancer, are going through treatment, and people who have known people who've had cancer. So it's an amazing event. It's very touching. And last year, our participants did really well. Typically, we can have about 40 people who will register, but because of the limited numbers that we can have at the event, it's going to be down to 20. But the 20 last year raised as much as the 40 can often raise
Wow.
in some years. So they did amazingly well, and it was a great campaign. It's a really important campaign because, as I said, all the funds raised go to help support equipment purchases for the hospital in various departments that help patients with early diagnosis of cancer, whether that's treatment or whether that's surgery, things like that. So we're excited with that campaign. And you're absolutely right. It does seem like we're coming right round pretty quick into it. But last year, because of COVID, we had to postpone it. But the way that we ran it, we wanted to make sure that we could still run the event, but keep everybody safe. So now we have that mold of how we can do it, and still have the event. The next event that we've also got, it's an important one this time. It's called the Have a Heart Radiothon. The location hasn't been determined yet, but we'll be doing that on June the 17th. And the funds raised for that is all goes towards the Eastern Star Children's Fund. And from last year's funding through that radiothon, and so anybody who donated to that, thank you, because the funds that we were able to raise bought, it's called a jaundice dragometer. So it's basically it's no more tears for newborn babies in the birthing center.
Hmm.
About 40 to 50% of babies born can be born with jaundice, and they need to monitor those babies. And typically, the tradition was to do the heel prick for the blood test. So it's uncomfortable for baby as well as distressing for mums. And if babies do have jaundice and they need regular testing, that can be very unpleasant for the baby. So the handheld jaundice meter is just non-invasive, and it keeps baby comfortable, and it's a up-to-date technology that can monitor those bilirubin levels for jaundice. So we were very excited with how that radiothon went, and we look forward to June the 17th.
Excellent. Now, I did want to talk to a bit about that. You mentioned the jaundice meter, I think you called it. I apologize if that's not the name of it, but anyway, you do some of the kind of items that you've been kind of talking about purchasing, fundraising for. Some of them have started to come in and started to be used in the hospital now, haven't they?
Yeah, we have equipment purchases going on throughout the year. So people don't always know and hear what's being purchased. And so the recent ones that have come in, and we've got items that we have approved and are purchasing, and it may take a while before they're in. But the recent ones were, again, the jaundice meter is in the hospital working in the birthing center. We have pocket talkers. These are devices for patients in Peace Villa who are hard of hearing or visually impaired. because they can better enjoy their family visits whilst maintaining a safe social distance, because the sounds and voices are clearer to the listener, because we have to wear masks. And people who are visually impaired or hard of hearing just can't enjoy. It's very distressing to have a visitor or even somebody who's caring for you and you can't hear, and it's very difficult under these current situations. So these have already made a significant difference for resident interactions at Peace Villa. And, we really want to make sure that we can help meet residents' or patients' needs under the current restrictions, and meeting their individual needs as well. So those items are in Peace Villa for that situation, as well as another piece of equipment. We partnered with the Fort St. John Auxiliary as well. We each matched the donation to go towards the purchase of an intubation glide scope. And this is a piece of important equipment in surgery for patients who are under general anesthetic requiring intubation. So we're very pleased that piece of equipment was purchased. That was also bought through the COVID Greatest Need Fund that we set up when COVID first started to become very apparent last year. So we did a fundraiser for that. Thanks to a lot of the corporations who came forward, helped us raise money. So those funds that we raised is still being kind of implemented, because there are ongoing needs and changes and shifts within the hospital, and we're here to respond to that.
Absolutely, which is really what your mandate's all about. So wonderful news. I'm glad to hear about Bluey Day. Again, registration for that opening March 1st. Watch the Fort St. John Hospital Foundation Facebook page for updates on that and the upcoming radiothon. You can also check out www.fsjhospitalfoundation.ca for everything happening with the Hospital Foundation. Niki, thanks so much for joining us. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Get local news and sports